Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be showing you how to crochet this adorable teddy bear granny square. So if you have a baby boy or baby girl or just someone in your life that you want to make a project with this particular design with, this would be a really cool idea. I'm actually expecting my first child in September. It's a boy, so I found this pattern and just kind of tweaked it a little bit, so it's not totally my pattern. I will link below where I got the pattern from, but I did make some slight adjustments to kind of make it my own. So for colors, I did actually run out of this blue yarn. I do have to go to the store and get some more. So I'm going to be using this color today for the sake of the tutorial. I have a cream color here for the nose, this lighter brown for the bear itself, and then black yarn to make the nose and the eyes. You'll also need a crochet hook. I'm using a 4.5mm hook. Really just match whatever your yarn recommends. Then you'll need a yarn needle and then a pair of scissors. Okay, so before we dive into the tutorial itself, I do kind of want to break down the construction of the square itself. What's going on here, what stitches are we using, that sort of thing. So it's actually quite simple. If you're new to crochet, this will be a fun one. A little challenging, but you will know the stitches, I promise. So this is what it looks like on the back side. Definitely not as cute, but I did want to be transparent and show you. If you do sew onto crochet projects, there's a good side and an ugly side. So we start this off in the center. This mouthpiece here is sewn on separately. You can kind of see those stitches on the back side. So that's a separate piece that gets crocheted on. But starting with the bear itself, here we have a magic circle. We work 12 double crochets. Then we increase the double crochet count for 2 rows. So it does kind of fold in on itself a little bit. And then we have 1 row around those double crochets of single crochets, an exception with the ears. So the ears are made up of 6 double crochets that are kind of worked in the front loop only of that previous row. And then we have our base color, the main square, which is mostly double crochets in between, but to make the corners, we are using some treble crochets, and then there's kind of like a fancy special stitch. Not much to it, but just these 2 stitches coming out of that corner are a little bit different from a typical double crochet. But that is what's going on with the construction of the square. So let's dive in and work on making the teddy bear first. So let's go ahead and get started. I have my bear color here that I'm going to use. This is like an acrylic blend. I'm pretty sure it might actually be from the dollar store, to be honest with you. It's not like a fancy brand. Just use what you have on hand. But we're going to start with the magic circle, like I said. So there's different ways to do that, but the point is to get a ring that we're going to work some double crochets into. So I have my ring here. I'm going to start by chaining 2. Just kind of pull that ring as you go. And we're going to work 12 total. So that's 1, and we're going to do 11 more. So double crochet is yarn over. Insert your hook and pull through. You have 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over and pull through 2. Yarn over and pull through 2. So we're going to do that until we have 12 total for our first round. Okay, so I just did my 12th one here. I'm kind of pulling this as I go. And we're going to slip stitch into the top to finish off this round. So we're going to find that top of the chain 2. And slip stitch, pull this tight to close the gap, and we're going to chain 2 to start the second round. All we're doing here is just increasing that, so we're going to be doing 2 double crochets in each stitch around. That will give us a total of 24. Okay, here I am back toward the beginning. I have 24 double crochets around, and same as before, I'm going to find the top of the chain 2 that I originally did, and we're going to slip stitch that to close the round. From here, we're going to do that one more time. We're going to repeat that same step. So we're going to chain 2 and place 2 double crochets in each stitch around, and that will give us 48. Okay, so it is crucial to double check how many stitches you have. So make sure you're not forgetting and you are putting in 2 double crochets in each around, because it will matter when it comes to the outer square part. It's all math, so just want to make sure that your stitches are that you have 48, that you have 12 here, that you have 24, and that you have 48. So just keep an eye on that as you go. I did slip stitch into the top here to finish off that row, same as before, and you'll notice the piece is kind of curling on itself. That's okay, that will happen. You also might notice at this point it's basically like a little coaster, so there's a little bonus tip for you if you want to make a coaster. But from here we have one more round to do, and that is single crochets to make the ears as well. So we're going to start by chaining 1, and that's just 1 single crochet. We're going to put 1 single crochet underneath that and working 1 single crochet in the next couple. I just kind of do a few out, as long as the ears are separated by 11 stitches. So anyway, so I just kind of did a couple here just to get it started out. It doesn't matter, you could do 6, you could do 12, whatever. But let's just go ahead and make an ear right here. So in the front loop only of this next stitch, I'm going to be doing 6 double crochets. So front loop only. There's 1. In the same stitch, we're just doing 6 of those. And here's our last one. So just to kind of see what we're working with, make sure we have 6 there. That's our first ear. And we're going to go into that next single crochet, or double crochet the previous, and then just work 1 single crochet. We're going to do this 11 times because we want 11 in between the 2 ears. Doesn't quite matter with these are the same, but as long as these are separated by 11. So we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And then we're going to create another ear. So in the next stitch, in the front loop only, we're going to do 6 double crochets. So front loop only, 6 double crochets in the same stitch for that second ear. Okay, so we have 6 double crochets for that second ear, and we're just going to finish this round by working 1 single crochet in each stitch until we get all the way back to the beginning. So all the way back here, and we're going to slip stitch into that. Okay, so I just slip stitch and we are done with this color for the bear. If you're doing a black bear, it might be a little tricky for beginners just because black yarn is tricky to work with to see the stitches. And this back tail here, I'm just tying it off. Tying it and cutting it. So that is what the bear is looking like. Let's go ahead and finish off with the nose and the eyes before we move on to the square. So for that, we're going to need our cream color, whatever color you want to use for your nose or the muzzle part. I'm using this cream. You could do white. I think cream looks a little better than the white. It's not too contrast. And there's just 2 rounds here. The first one is exactly the same as this one here, where we just do 12 double crochets with a magic circle. And then this one is alternating 1 and 2 half double crochets. So let's do that really quick together. We're going to start with a magic circle with a chain 2. So working 11 more into there for a total of 12. Okay, here's our 12th double crochet, and we're going to slip stitch at the beginning here to finish off this round, closing that gap. And we're going to start the next one by chaining 2. We're going to work 1 half double crochet in that same stitch. In the next stitch, we're just going to put 1 half double crochet. And we're going to alternate that around, so 2 and 1. So the next stitch, we're going to put 2 half double crochets, and then 1 half double crochet. So back here at the beginning, I just slip stitched into the beginning of the of that round. And when we finish off, we're going to leave a long tail because we have to sew this onto the bear. So I'm going to leave probably about that much. I'm going to take this and pull the yarn through. And then on this back side, this tail, we're going to pull it tight and tie a knot. And before we put this on the bear, let's do the nose, because it'll be easier to sew a nose on there before we attach it on the bear. So we're going to grab our black yarn, or whatever you're using for your nose color. And I'm just going to take probably, I don't know, probably like that much, you know. A little bit longer is better than shorter. On one side, we're going to tie a knot, just like that. And we're going to take our yarn needle and thread this side through. And it just kind of lays there. So we're going to take our piece. I like to leave this right at the top. And I'm going to come up, so on the underside, I'm going to come up with my black yarn right through the middle. And I'm going to pull that all the way through until you feel the knot. You don't want to pull it too, you know, too hard because it might come through. And from here, you just kind of want to visualize a triangle. So I'm seeing this stitch to this one to this one. So again, it's kind of up to you. Kind of visualize it, eyeball it. I've done a few of these at this point, so I kind of see the vision here. So I'm going to go up kind of on an angle here in the top of this double crochet. I'm going to pull this through so it leaves this line. I'm on the underside now. I'm going to come up over here, so kind of adjacent to it, because we're forming a triangle. And then obviously to complete that, we come back down through the middle. And this is just what I do. You can do this however you want. You can sew it on however you want to do. This is what I've been doing for mine. I'm going to repeat that. I'm going to go back up through the same exact stitch and back over to this other one to kind of complete that triangular shape. And from here, it's basically all about filling in you know, making it solid, filling it in, going back and forth until you have it the way you want it. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, kind of play around with it and see what I like to do with that. Okay, so this is what the nose is looking like. There is really no right or wrong way to do this. So don't panic, just kind of sit there and play with it a little bit. Just try to go back and forth, up and down, you know, until you get the shape that you want. This one's actually a little bit more ovular than, you know, triangular. But as long as it's the way you want it, then you're good. So I'm going to kind of trim that off because we're going to tie these to our starting strand and the finishing strand. We're going to kind of tie them off to secure it a little better. You don't want to pull too tight though, because if you pull too tight, it's going to mess with the shape on the front. And then we're just going to cut those down a little bit shorter. It's going to hide behind, like on the inside here. So that is the nose. Let's go ahead and attach it on to the bear. Then we'll make the eyes and then we'll move on to the square. So we're going to attach or thread our tail end through here. And what I like to do is, because this is coming out of the top center, I like to line that up with the top center here. So we kind of have, we're going to kind of rest this again. There's no right or wrong way. You can have it be up higher. I kind of like it starting this first circle, the top of the first circle, and then I kind of like to carry it down to the bottom of the second circle, if that makes sense. So we're going to start by weaving this in and out of this piece. So I'm going to go through the bear. And I'm going to come up the other side and grab one of these loops. And we're going to just basically repeat that around. And I'm keeping my thumb here for pressure. And you kind of look at it, every other stitch that you do, kind of look at it and see if it's in the placement that you want, because now we're rotating. Then do a couple more stitches coming out of that first circle, and then I'm going to kind of branch out and down. See, so now I'm going to come through these like double crochet gaps. Again, there's no right or wrong way. See, now I'm on the bottom of the second circle. So I'm going to do that a couple times. When I get to this part, I'll start moving a little inward. See, now I'm going to catch this one here. Hopefully that makes sense. This is a crocheting channel, not sewing, so we do what we can. And that came out. You just basically want to eyeball it as you go, you know, move it how you want. We have a couple more here, back at the beginning. Okay. There we go. It's a little crooked. It's okay, you can kind of pull at it. Suppose it is a little crooked, huh? But that's okay. From here, how you're gonna hide this is you're just gonna go right in the piece. If you can find a spot, just kind of pull, you know, sew it all the way through so it's underneath there. And we're gonna cut this off. There we go. It is a little crooked, but for the sake of the tutorial, we're going to keep moving. So, for the eyes, similar, it's also pretty easy. We're going to take little smaller strands here. Just 2 strands we're going to cut. Okay, so these we don't really have to tie on, or we don't really have to tie a knot on the other side when we thread it, because we're going through the double crochet, so it's not going to be thick enough anyway. But same idea here, we're kind of going to eyeball where we want our triangle to lie. So I kind of go parallel to where the nose is at the top. So I kind of see this here. I'm going to find a stitch here. Pull this through, not all the way through, you want to leave a strand. And we're making a triangle, so I'm going to go up and back down. Then I'm going to go back up, and that's the first eye. We're going to tie this, and we're going to do the same thing to the other side. And again, there's no right or wrong way, just play with it until you get the shape that you want. Okay, the good news is we're almost done. We're going to learn how to do the square part. So we're going to turn our bear into a square. So we got the body, we got the eyes, we got the little crooked nose. It's kind of cute, actually. I like it. No one's perfect. We also have this tail end that we're going to work in, and as I mentioned, I ran out of this color, so I'm just going to use this one for now to show you. So we're going to get this started. And I'm going to actually attach this, let's see. So I'm going to go over here. Once you get the hang of this pattern, you'll start to see where you want to connect it. So I have a reason for this, but we have our 6 double crochets here. And then after that, we have 2 singles. I'm going to skip those 2 singles and go right into the back loop only of that 3rd single crochet after the ear. Back loop only of the 3rd single crochet after the ear. So we're going to tie this on to attach it. We're going to go back in and pull up 2, we're going to chain 2. So that's the height of a double crochet. And we're going to place 1 double crochet in the back loops only, just in the next 7. So there's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now we're going to work 1 special stitch, which is kind of like basically a double crochet, but it's a little different. So in the back loop only, in the next one, we're gonna yarn over, insert our hook, back loop only, pull up. So we have 3 like normal, as if we're doing the double crochet, but we're only going to pull through 1. So yarn over, pull through the first loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. So that's it. And we're going to do that one more time in the next one. Yarn over, pull through the first, yarn over, pull through the second 2, and then the last 2. Because it's kind of growing a little bigger. Now for the corner, we're going to work 2 treble crochets. So we yarn over twice before going in the stitch. So we have 2 treble crochets. We're going to chain 2 and place another 2 trebles in the same stitch to complete that corner. I think that was a double hand. There we go. Yeah, 2 treble crochets, followed by 2 chains, and then 2 more trebles. So now next to that, we're going to do 2 special stitches. So we're kind of doing that half, the double crochet, but just where you go through the one at a time. Just doing one of those in the next 2. And then you're going to work 7. So we did 7 double crochets over here. We're going to do 7 again. So it's always 7 double crochets in between the corners. And again, we're doing back loop only. So we did our 7 double crochets. Now we're going to do one of our special stitches in, like, one in the next 2. So you're going to work another corner, which is 2 treble crochets, chain 2, and another 2 treble crochets. Then you're going to do one of those special stitches in the next 2, followed by 7 double crochets. So we're making our way up toward the ear. I'm just working this tail end in. We have 2 more single crochets until our double crochets. So we're going to do those special stitches, just 1 in the next 2. Again, back loop only. I'm going to trim this away just so it's not confusing with all these strands. And now we're at the ear. So this is what it's looking like so far. We're at the ear, and we're actually gonna, when we fold the ear down, there's kind of a stitch hanging out right in the middle. We're gonna put a, work a corner right into that ear. So a corner is 2 trebles followed by 2 chains and 2 trebles. So we're gonna do a treble. We're gonna pick up, I know it's a little fuzzy, so it's hard to see, but we're gonna pick up that strand, that one stitch that's right behind that ear, and work a corner. Chain 2, 2 more trebles. Okay, so it's basically 3D. It pops that ear out. And then we're gonna do our special stitches. So you wanna make sure you find the first one right after the double crochet. You wanna find that one. And then we're gonna do 7 double crochets across this way, and we're just completing the pattern. So 7 double crochets, 2 special, a corner right there, and then we're finishing off with the 2 specials, and we're going to slip stitch at the end. All right, so this is what we're looking like after that first round of the square. The ears will start to kind of fold down, so you can just kind of pull those back, or when you block, block your project, you can really stretch it. But to do one more round, you could stop there if you want. We're going to do one more round. It's a lot easier than that one. We're going to chain 2 to get to the height of a double crochet. And we're working through both loops now. We don't have to do the back or the front loop only. And we're basically just working 1 double crochet in every stitch around. Nice and easy. But when we get to the corners, we're going to do something a little different, but we're not going to be doing trebles, so that's a bonus. Okay, so in our corner gap, we're going to put 2 double crochets. So there's 2. And we're going to chain 2 and then work 2 more double crochets into that gap. and then work 1 double crochet all the way around. So it's that same pattern all the way. Double crochets. In the corner you're doing 2 double crochets, chain 2, and 2 double crochets. And we're going to slip stitch back at the beginning. So that is it for this tutorial. I hope you guys really enjoyed it. It's something fun and different to make. Again, it is not my pattern. It is altered to be something that I did. It's really cute to make into a baby blanket, or you know, a bag, or just a project that you want to do for a little one. But I hope you learned something new and it was easy to follow. As always, if you have any questions, put them in the comments below. Be sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.